Okay, Chris. Yeah, let's get started.
The Voice 17104.com. This is Zanetta Winkle, and you're listening to The Voice 17104.com. The Voice 17104.com. He said my name ain't Eastern on the phone. 17104.com. Real rap around town. Real
Hey, good Monday evening, everybody. Hi, I'm Ron Chappell. Welcome to Real Rap with Ron Chappell. Come to you every Monday night between 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern here at The Voice 17104.com, the voice of Harrisburg. And here's my phone. Okay, so how y'all doing out there? How y'all doing? Okay, how you doing, Chris Thomas?
Hey, brother, we're blessed by the best, brother. Good to see you tonight. You looking good?
Amen, 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 brother. It's good to be here. And you know, I was looking at the calendar, and I just realized that the next Monday is Christmas Eve.
Yes, sir.
And so this will be our Christmas show.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be our Christmas show. And then after that, the following Monday, I believe, is New Year's Day. And so this is the end of the year show tonight. And so as always, we invite your input. If you want to call in and speak on anything that happened this year, or some of your plans for the forthcoming year, if God give, well, please feel free to do that. The telephone number is 717. Chris, I'm having George Bush moment.
889-7181, brother.
889-7181.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 717-889-7181. And as always, the only guideline is no profanity, please. No profanity, please. Okay, so this year has been moving right along. I tell you, it seemed like only last week it was July. And now we're looking at Christmas. We're like a week away from Christmas. So are y'all ready? Be honest. Are you really, really ready? You know, I think this is the time of year, Chris, where everybody can use an extra $50.
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's so much that you want to try to do. Then you got them bills that continually come. You got other obligations, and so you try to do the best that you can. Try to do the best that you can, and please try to remember those that have been kind to you all year. Even some of those that haven't been kind, because this is the season of giving. So let them know that you still have love in their heart. And you know that you realize that they're only human and no one has experience on this life. I don't think anybody has come this way before. And so exercise your ability to share some joy to someone if you can. You know what I'm saying, Pastor Chris Thomas?
Yes, sir. You talking right, brother.
All right, so I would say Merry Christmas to all of you out there, all of you that celebrate Christmas. And no, we're not going to get into the historical concept, the factual concept of December the 25th, because just touching on that briefly, we know that wasn't really the day of Jesus' birth. I believe it's written, Pastor Thomas, that the shepherds were in the field.
Yes, sir. You're correct, sir.
And I've heard many religious scholars maintain that it was probably more than not during the month of July or perhaps August. And I know there's a lot of pagan rituals celebrated with the December the 25th, but we're not going to go into that because that's not why we commemorate it. At least I don't think that's why you commemorate it.
No, sir.
I know that's not the reason that I commemorate it, And so, to me, it's a time of joy and also a time of reflection, just like on Thanksgiving. There's been some memorable Christmases that we have all experienced, and And Pastor Thomas, I know that you have stories, you have thoughts that come to heart, come to mind about your experience on Christmas. And it seemed like, however, that the older you get, to me, it is more just about the children, Pastor Thomas.
Sure, yes, sir.
Just about the children. It's a joyous time. It should be a joyous time for all, but especially the little ones, because this is the holiday that a lot of them have been waiting all year for. And Pastor Thomas, when you're a toddler or a pre-adolescent or a preteen, it seemed like Christmas came about every 2 years. But when you get older, it seems like Christmas comes about twice a year.
Oh my, sir.
Twice a year, because nevertheless, it's just another holiday where you are just about forced to go into your pocket to share what you have. It ain't nothing wrong with that. You thank God that you have the ability to do that. You thank God that you have the ability to do that. Well, I know that to all, it won't be a Merry Christmas, because at a lot of tables, there will be an empty seat.
Oh my.
Yeah, there will be an empty seat, because all that started the year with us may not be here right now, and so what I ask you to do is just hold on to the good memories and the good times that you had with that person. And also, don't forget the not so good times that you experienced with that person. Just realize that in all those areas, there were lessons to be learned, and also look and realize that they're away from the lies and the deceit and the hate in this world, So the odds are they are in a much, much better place. And I believe my Bible tells me that if you live right, then you have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice in all manners. I spoke last week, Pastor Thomas, about people controlling their emotions and controlling their actions. And then it came to mind that there's a scripture to the word of the effect that anger would be at your door, but you will be the master of it. That you will be the master of it. And so there's nothing wrong with being angry. I believe Jesus got angry when the fig tree did not bear fruit. When they came by it, him and some disciples, and they were hungry, and the fig tree was bare. And so he cursed the fig tree. He was, so it's nothing wrong with getting angry. We're all going through this human experience. We're spirits going through this human experience and dealing with this world that we are strangers in. And so, but it's still up to you to control your actions, You can get angry and you can let little trivial things bother you and bother you to the point that cause you to act out. And then you can find yourself in a world of hurt, So, and always try to maintain your composure and try to maintain your actions. And I know, there's been people that have used you, that have mistreated you, that have abused you, but don't think that anything has ever happened to you or that will happen to you that haven't happened to Jesus Christ before too.
That's good.
Many times he saw his friends turn off and leave him in his time of need, and many times, like in the people that he was trying to feed and clothe and open their eyes to what's real and what's righteous in this world. The time came when first 1 week they were putting down olive branches, palm branches before him, yelling, "Oh, Hosanna, oh, Hosanna." They were praising him when he was coming through this town, but about a week later, the same people were saying, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him." How soon they forget. And so if they did it to him, don't think that they won't do it to you. If people have backslid on people, have lied about you and lied on you and tried to assassinate your character, well, they did that to him first, and so therefore I believe that book is a guide for us to deal with what we will encounter in this particular world that we are visiting, because we are not from here. Our spirits came from a paradise. Our spirits came from God. And when we relinquish these physical houses, you know, hopefully and prayerfully, that's where we will return. You know, I think that this here is part of the judgment. This here is part of the judgment. This here is another opportunity by grace that God has given us to do things right, to make things right. This might be the last appeal. This might be the last appeal. You know, I think it was Pastor Franklin Harrison Allen that said that can no one really preach your eulogy? Can nobody really preach your eulogy in as much as you are living your eulogy?
Yes, sir.
You are living your eulogy, you know, and so a lot of times when it come to that home going, pardon me, Chris, can you give me just one brief moment? I got to go get some water, man.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Pastor Thomas. Okay, and thank you, folks. Thank you, folks. You know, I think that, well, you know, when they have these homegoing ceremonies, you know, they have a few moments. Sometime they give to the people that come there for your homegoing, and they give them time to come to the mic to give some reflections, to tell what kind of person you were with their experiences with you. And in some ways, I feel like that might be the last appeal. That might be the last appeal before God makes his final decision. You know, I believe at that point, your soul is right there before the Lord, and things will be weighed. You know, the books will be open. The angels will give their report, you know, and I think that God will also take in consideration what's said during your homegoing, you know, what people will come up and say about you, how you touched their lives, how the experiences they had with you went, how your judgments or lack of judgments help to quell certain situations, how your heart reached out to try to help situations, or also if you were not, not that type of person. People come up and they generally want to say something good about you, but sometimes, if we be honest, they may not absolutely tell it like it's showing up TIS is, but God bless them for the tribe. But nevertheless, I think God weighs those things that people say, because God see what type of a saint you were in this particular realm of life, which he would make a decision whether you'll go on to paradise or whether you go to the other place with the other fella. You understand what I'm saying? And so, as I say, Pastor Allen told us that no one can really preach your eulogy as much as you live your eulogy. And so I want you to take that in consideration. Take that in consideration right now. The way you conduct yourself right now, your interactions with people right now. These are things that will be noted. These are things that will be noted by the angels. Times when you had an opportunity to help somebody, but you held back. Times when you had an opportunity to help make peace, but instead of doing that, you tried to stir up the mess. The time when you falsely accused people, and you knew that you were falsely accusing people, but you went on and you did it anyway, and you caused all kind of confusion. You cause all kind of confusion, and you try to turn other people, innocent people, against that particular person or against those people. I think that's going to be way too. And I think that any reasonable person would find with that there's no room for any troublemaker in heaven. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
my Pastor A.J. Bradley Sr., you know, has a saying that ain't nobody going to end up in heaven that didn't want to be there, that didn't want to be there. So if you enjoy sinning, if you enjoy living the other way, if you enjoy doing things contrary to what you know you're supposed to do, well, just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. And you better try to find some enjoyment out of it, because the bill is going to come in. The bill is going to come in. The bill is going to come in. And you want to be able to say that bill is rightfully yours. Well, it's going to be given to you, whether, you know, and the consequences thereof, whether you claim that bill or not, because you are being recorded right now. You're being recorded right now. If you think people can record your phone calls, if you think that cameras that are everywhere in this world now can record your actions, well, know this, that the angels has been recording you and your actions. Were here before got here, been here. You understand what I'm saying? And so know that it's all being noted. It's all being noted. You know, those you that try to turn folks against other people, you know, that's going to be noted too. You know, and why do you think that there would be a place for you in paradise? Why do you think there'd be a place for you in paradise when you can't get along with people down here, when you're so busy trying to stir up mess down here? You know, God ain't gonna bless no mess. You understand what I'm saying? And so all of that should be taken into account. You know, all that should be taken into account. You know, if God gave you a reasonably intelligent mind, a fair mind, well then use that mind and use experiences, you know, that you may have encountered, you know, and try to act accordingly, you know, try to act accordingly, you know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making a mistake, because as I say, we've only passed this way this one time. And also, that's another thing I want to touch on. I believe that we are all going through this particular realm of life at the same time for a reason, Pastor Thomas. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, you could have been born 100 years ago, and I never would have knew you.
Sure.
I never would have had the chance to know you or learn anything from you, and vice versa. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so we were all put here, I believe, at the same time, for the reason to learn off of one another and to help one another. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor
Yes, sir.
Thomas?
You're talking right,
You
brother.
know, it reminds me, man, when I went into the service, and I go back to this time and time, because it was a very, very important time in my life, you know, when I was 18 years old and I enlisted in the military, you know, in the midst of a war. You know, back then people were being drafted, but I didn't wait around to get a draft notice, because I was just that gung-ho for America, you know, plus I had some other problems, you know, where but, you know, I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, I remember waking up in the barracks one morning. No, matter of fact, this wasn't the military. Let me backtrack that. This wasn't in the military. This was in a recovery recovery program that I was a part of, you know, because, you know, ain't no shame in my game. I tell the truth and shame the devil. You know, I wrestled with alcoholism for 30 years of my life, wasted and destroyed a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships, hurt a lot of people emotionally, you know. Thank God, none physically, but emotionally, you know, because of the madness that I was in, you know. But like, that was 30 years, and by the grace of God, you know, it's been 25 years hence, only by the grace of a good God. But I remember one time waking up in a recovery program, and I happened to look around the room at the other people that were staying in the barracks we were staying in, and it seemed like I saw elements of myself all over the place. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure, yes, sir.
There was a fat guy there who was a good friend of mine, and you know, it reminded me, it took me back to when I was young, I was a fat kid. I was a
Okay,
fat
okay,
kid. You
okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
and it's almost like it was mystical. I was a fat kid like that, in the early part of my life, 8, 9, 10, stuff like that, And then there was this real tall fella. He was also in the program, At one time, during junior high school, junior high school, I was a tall, a tall student, taller than a lot of them. And at that point, at that time, I was rather subconscious about my height. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas? Because I was towering over most of my classmates and even some of my teachers. And there was a guy there that was taller than me. I stand 6'1.5". This person had to be probably about 6'3" or 6'4". And so I saw him, you understand what I'm saying? Then there was another guy who was real, shy, real bashful, with the easy grin, like Sugar Ray Leonard had, you smile at the drop of a hat, and I was like that when I was 15 or 16. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then, once I was born again, because I couldn't drink my way out of it, because that only made me worse. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But like once I was born again, all that went away. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? But I saw these different elements that seemed like they were portions of my life, you understand, and dealing with that and seeing how they were acting, I saw that they were dealing with the same thing that I was dealing with younger in life. You understand?
Yes.
And so that help enlighten my mind, to understand that for the most part, we make our own way through this life. If God give you reasonable faculties to make your own decisions, and also decide how you're going to interact with other people and how you are going to be known by other people. Now you can't make anybody like you. You can't make anybody accept you. The best thing that you can do in life is to be yourself, Now, this goes back to a time in the military. I was in the military, and the smartest thing and the dumbest thing ever heard before in my life, I heard in the service. Pastor Thomas. Now, I wasn't enlisted, man. Enlisted ranks, that's where you have your private, corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, gunnery sergeant, so on and so forth. And the top of the enlisted ranks is an E9, sergeant major, Pastor Thomas.
Okay.
And and being that I was an admitted troublemaker and heavy drinker in the service, I would get in trouble time to time, and I'd be called on the carpet,
Sure.
and have to go see the sergeant major. And at one time, this was Sergeant Major Ward. And ironically, here in Harrisburg, I met someone that told me that there was a retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major Ward that worked at the post office over here on Market Street, Pastor Thomas.
Okay.
This is back around 2002.
Sure.
And I never did make my way to go over there to try to see him or meet him or get reacquainted or whatever, but I bet it was the same fella. But he told me the dumbest thing I ever heard before in my life, And he said, Chapel, he said, why don't you try to make people like you,
Oh my.
And I stood there at attention, couldn't say nothing. And I tell you, I was thinking to myself, this is the dumbest thing anybody could possibly say. How in the world do you make somebody like you? How can you make somebody like you? I mean, you can't do it. Either they're going to like you or they ain't going to like you. And there's really nothing much that you can do about it. Now, you can turn some people against you. By your attitudes and how you react to them and how you treat them and how you mistreat them. But anyway, so that was the dumbest thing that I heard. But like I say, I was a troublemaker. I was getting in trouble constantly, it seems, even though I left with honorable discharge. Matter of fact, I went in again and left with another, so I have two. But anyway, I was standing before a lieutenant colonel. Now it goes lieutenant colonel, full bird colonel, and then a general. You understand? So this was a company executive officer. And he said, he said, Chapel, he said, can't nobody help you but you.
Wow.
And that was the smartest thing that I ever heard. The smartest thing that I ever heard. And so I'm going to send that to you out there. The only one that can really help yourself is you. God, of course, God makes it all possible. But you have to change your attitude. You have to change your attitude. You have to stop sometime and consider how you sound to other people, how the things you say might affect the other people, and how, if those things were said to you, how it would affect you. Excuse me. If you don't like somebody going off on you and saying all sorts of things that they don't know whether it's true or not, making accusations against you, well, why do you think someone else would appreciate you saying those things to them or doing those things to them? And so you have to reflect upon that. You have to know that what hurt you can hurt somebody else. And then again, you never know what experiences someone might have had. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor
Sure,
Thomas?
yes, sir, yes.
Everybody didn't travel the same road that you're traveling, and so it might be something, like for instance, Pastor Thomas, I had a bad habit of telling fat jokes, ridiculing overweight people, which you've heard me do that, shamefully, like a few times, which I don't do anymore. But like, as I said, I always felt that then again, I had legitimate license because I was a fat kid at one time, but nevertheless, someone else struggling with the weight, for instance, might not find those things to be humorous at all, which I had to stop and consider. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure, yes,
Because some people really struggle with a weight condition, and then there are people that have medical reasons, why their body retain a lot of water,
Sure.
or why they cannot lose weight. And then again, I often read that when people are overweight, generally it's because they're dealing with some kind of inadequacy in their life, whether it be emotional support, physical support, or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? You see, we all need positive affirmations, and we need those not only from other people, we need that for ourselves too, and some people just don't have that, some people never experience that, some people are fortunate enough to grow up in loving families, where they were encouraged by their parents, they were encouraged by their siblings, and they were encouraged by their relatives, and so a lot of them grew up with a healthy esteem. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir,
A
yes,
healthy
sir.
esteem and self-respect. But not everybody grew up that way. Some people grew up being mistreated and being belittled, and they've had so much tragedy and drama in their life that they make them grow up to be what I would call a drama junkie. You understand what I'm saying? A drama junkie. They get very, very uncomfortable, as a matter of fact, when things are going well. When things are going well. These are the kind of people that like to keep stuff going. People like that. I mean, things are going smooth in relationships, or things are going smooth in work situations, but still they find some reason to disrupt everything. It's just like the little kid, the proverbial little kid that builds a castle, a sand castle, and right before he put a flag in it, he turns around and he kicks it over. You know, these are people that have had that kind of adversity in their life, you know, and they're not used to someone speaking to them well or treating them right. They mess around with a lot of wrong people, and they're in relationships where they're used to guys yelling at them, talking about all kind of inadequacies with them, so they grew up with a whole lot of hurt and a whole lot of pain. You understand what I'm saying? And then someone comes along that wants to treat them decent, want to treat them with respect, and it makes them feel uncomfortable because it's not something that they are used to. It's not something that they're used to experiencing. And so, understand that there are people like that. There are people like that, and so, give them a little leadway, and don't let some things that somebody say to you disrupt your day too much either. Always give positive affirmations about yourself. You are going to pass that test. You will get that job. Your application will be moved to the front. You will be able to get the things, the things that you are reaching for. Have some positive affirmation that you tell yourself. Don't let somebody else's opinion of you, never let somebody else's opinion of you determine how you feel about yourself. Accept yourself and know that there's no one else in the universe exactly like you. It's all about you. I'm not talking about with the arrogant self-love, Pastor Thomas,
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
truly
Yes, sir.
before you can love someone else, you have to love yourself. You have to at least accept yourself. You have to accept yourself. And you also got to be able to take constructive criticism when it's coming. And you can tell the difference, between constructive criticism and just pure out hateful ridicule. You gotta be able to take some constructive criticism. If someone say, now look, you shouldn't be doing that, or you shouldn't be going there, or you've had a bad experiences with this person, so you shouldn't go back to that person. It's not that they're necessarily being too nosy. It's because they may be trying to look out for your best interest. And sometimes, believe it or not, it takes somebody on the outside looking in to see things that you really can't see, that you really can't realize. You understand what I'm saying? For instance, I actually question proverbially, does a fish know that it's in a fishbowl? For the most part, no, because the fish see that this world is from here to there.
Sure.
Someone on the outside can look at that fish and say, if that fish only knew, they're in that bowl, but they could be in a stream, or they could be in a lake. You understand what I'm saying? Or they could be in an ocean, and so really that fish's view is limited. And so that's the same way a lot of us might be sometimes when we are dealing with infatuation with someone that may not feel the same way about us. Pastor Thomas, speaking of relationships, I've often heard that the greatest harm a man can do to himself, Pastor Thomas,
Yes, sir.
is to be in love with a woman that's in love with another man,
man.
and vice versa, and vice versa. Love should be a two-way street,
Sure.
a two-way street,
Sure.
a two-way street, and virtually a dead end to the respect that they are together until the end of time, for either of them or maybe even both of them. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Sure. And so people should take those things into consideration and still know, as I say, that you just about make the bed that you're going to lay in. People know how far they can get with you because you've allowed them to get that far, and can't nobody really do much to you unless you allow them to do that, and for the most part, people would treat you the way you allow them to treat you, and so first of all, it begins with you respecting yourself. If you don't respect yourself, it's like the song by the Stable Singers, ain't nobody else gonna respect you. All right, okay, so You know, I ran my mouth a lot. Well, I've done a lot of talking. Pastor
A
Thomas,
couple
you got something?
listeners tuned in tonight.
All right.
Some have been, well, actually, all of them, I think, been prior guests on the program. Starting with first and foremost, Uptown resident, now down in the Dominican Republic, the DR, Mr. Dean Carter.
Dean Carter, how you doing?
Today.
World traveling Dean Carter, how you doing, brother? I'm glad you're able to enjoy all those trips you're taking. And, you know, and so, all right, be safe, be safe.
All right, you
Okay.
got your best friend in the world, Miss Eleanor Harrison, watching.
Hey, Eleanor, how you doing? How you doing? Good cooking, Eleanor Eleanor Harrison. Good cooking, Eleanor Harrison. And every time when I think of you, sometime I look at my stomach and I say, "You're the blame. You're the blame. Your good cooking is the blame." But how you doing? Thanks for tuning in.
William Holland and Camouflage Chris Williams.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill. What's the real deal, Bill Holland? And Camouflage Chris Williams. It was good seeing you at the Christmas party Saturday night, which we're going to get into. And it was good to see you. And I'm glad you and your mom could attend. And we look forward to having you back on the program. Incidentally, as I said, this is virtually the last program of the Real Rap with Ron Chapel / Ron Chapel show this year. And you know, every year I try to do something a little different. And next year, my plan is to probably have a guest host on every program. And so, Chris Camouflage Williams, don't be surprised if I call upon you. Okay, you got something else you want to speak about?
I think that was it as far as well, there's some of my listeners on TikTok, some you may not be familiar with. Sister Emma LaRue. She's watching the broadcast, been on the past 15-20 minutes or so, watching it on TikTok.
Hey, Emily LaRue, happy holidays to you. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you join us every Monday night here at 8 p.m. I hope that's your destination on Monday nights at 8 p.m. You know, soon these Monday night football games will be over. I know a lot of y'all are probably tuning in to watch football tonight, you know, which I'll be hopefully going to do after the program, you know, but Monday Night Football is drawing to a close. And so anyway, I hope you'll make time to join us on Monday nights. And plus also, you know, the video will be remaining up. And so I know some of y'all watch it late at night or maybe the early part of the next day. Chris Thomas, you're about to say something.
No, not at all. Well, just a public thanks and appreciation for the stellar job that you did at the last minute, emceeing our second annual celebration of thanks right here at Wesley Zion AME Church, located uptown Harrisburg. Again, big shout out to the Wesley family and Reverend Dr. David T. Miller for extending us the opportunity to host our Christmas party and to replant the media ministry here at the Wesley Church uptown Harrisburg. But stellar job, you and Sister Wendy, collaborated, and the way you auctioned off that gift basket during the program, man, I think that could be a staple moving forward. And I want to talk to you about that because you actually was a pretty good auctioneer too. I didn't know you had that in you, brother.
Okay, brother. Well, thank you, and you are too kind. You're too kind, Pastor Chris Thomas, because if you ask me, I think that it was a subpar job that I did there, emceeing that event, but I have a legitimate excuse, the legitimate excuse being that I didn't know that I would do that until the night of, after coming in and taking a seat. Apparently, I found out that you had told Eleanor prior that I would be doing it, but that I'd be hosting or emceeing it, but we hadn't discussed it,
Sure.
We hadn't discussed it, and especially since I was rather co-hosting it with Wendy, with spoken word artist Wendy Cherianye. I didn't have time to interact with the co-host, and so the timing and everything, was really off, and so, like I said, it was the last minute, 11th hour and 45 minute, time to find out that I was going to be doing that, and then try to take notes on the program. And every time, and we were sitting there, and you're trying to fill me in there at the last minute, of the program. And every time you try to do that, someone came over, someone came over talking to you, which, that's what people do, But anyway, so we made it through. We made it through, and it was a marvelous, marvelous event. It was given by the owners here at the Voice 17104 Internet Radio, and Chris Thomas. I believe that photographer, Pastor Ron Wright, made a little short video.
There was one of Bishop Palmer with the opening prayer. There was 2 or 3 of them. I think I may have 2 of them or 3 of them. I may have the other one on my messenger, but I didn't post it. I think Pastor Vince, Apostle Vince, was sharing his kind words and remarks of thanks and appreciation for the platform and for the event.
I'm speaking of the video that he made that had various pictures.
I made that.
Because you tag,
Yeah, I made that, yeah.
You tagged my page with it.
Yeah.
Okay, can you present it? Can you show it?
The song, I could just have to turn down the volume on it because the song may be copyrighted.
Okay.
That plays behind it.
Okay,
Yeah.
incidentally, that's another reason why we not piping out any Christmas music, because there's certain copyright laws and everything, and the station isn't at the point that we have an agreement with all these different publishing companies. And so with Facebook, if we use their music here during this commercial experience, well then, we could get into a lot of trouble with the publishers of this music and also get sued. And so, Pastor Thomas, you're going to delete the music from it, but if you can show the video, because you had a lot of nice pictures in that video.
Let's see here.
And see, just like you did me, I didn't bring this up earlier. I'm
We rolled the punches, brother.
Yeah, okay. I'm making this request at the last minute, but I know you can handle it.
Well, let's see here.
Okay.
Let's picture those wonderful gift baskets that you were auctioning off during the program. Again, we had holiday trivia, the auction basket, and then we also did, what was the last one we did? The auction.
Can you run the video, brother?
Sure. Pictures of the food, pictures of those that helped to serve.
Yeah, they fit as well as Pastor. Go back for a minute. It's Pastor Chris' mother. That's Elder Henderson and wife. But that's Ellis Roy, wife. Okay.
You may not know who they are. That's actually my aunt and her friend.
Okay.
My mom's sister.
Right.
You know Pastor Kathy Wright?
Yes. Yeah, I've known Kathy Wright for a long time.
You know this
Elder Roger Dixon.
And his lovely wife, Patricia.
Yes. And it's Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Muhammad. The
Voices of Niger.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Fine, close. And that's, I believe that's Eleanor's daughter, Pastor Roberta Thomas Brown, and her husband, Bishop Stanley Brown. There's my co-host, Wendy Chirianye, co-host at the event. Okay, that was Roy and wife.
I don't know if you know that gentleman or not. He's actually one of the hosts of the Hope Forum. That is Elder Joseph Bass, a 4th generation preacher.
Oh, yeah?
Yes,
Is he any kid of Reggie Bass, Pastor Reggie
You
Bass?
would have to ask him. I don't know a lot of his relations here, but I met him through the Hope Forum and co-hosting that program.
Okay. Incidentally, we went to Greater Zion Church Sunday, saw Pastor Bass and their preacher, Pastor Trey DuPont.
Oh, okay.
That's Pastor Chris Thomas and his lovely wife, Melissa Hall Thomas.
There's Pastor Ron.
Pastor Ron,
Jazz.
his sister
What
Jasmine.
they do.
Yeah, he was a photographer for the event. Also, he also helps with your outreach ministry.
Yeah, we partner with Abiding in Christ Ministries, Philadelphia. We go down to the street corners of Philly, do preaching on Diamond Street. There's another street down there that we preach on that he's more familiar with than I am. And sometimes he comes to Harrisburg. Too. So we normally go to Philly 2-3 times a year, and he'll come to Harrisburg about the same to do street ministry here.
Okay, and it's Chris Camouflage Williams in
Yes,
the middle.
sir. Big shout out. He's watching. He said, "Amen, brother Ron Chapel.
All
Good
right,
evening."
all right. Good evening, brother.
That's
Okay.
Chris and his mother.
Yeah, that's his mom.
Oh, I know that. Who they are.
Me and Eleanor.
All right. This is my daughter's godmother and her godbrothers, and my wife.
Okay.
And in conclusion, that was one. That's actually Prophet Roberta Ford. She actually has a channel on voicetv.org.
Yeah, with
It's
the hat
called
on.
Just Ask God, the JAG channel.
Right.
And young lady to help us at the last minute, almost at the expense of her health and making herself sick. But she did a wonderful, stellar job in helping us to set everything up before all the guests started to arrive.
Yeah. The food was delicious, and also, the food was delicious, and also the place was decorated very, very nice, very, very nice. And this is the second annual event, I believe, Pastor Thomas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Lord willing, Jesus Terry, we look forward to having part 3. Not sure where we'll be at or what frame of mind we'll be in then. But stay tuned for more information about the 3rd annual celebration of thanks, and we'll potentially invite you if you're interested.
Okay. And speaking of that, on the 29th of December, there is a invite from Lamont Jones for Harrisburg City Council, who was successful in the general election.
Okay.
I believe he's going to be sworn in at courtroom 1 on the 29th of December. I believe the time is 10 o'clock. I'll find that notice and post it on my page. And I'm sure all are invited to come and attend and support that brother, who I believe one day, by God's grace, and he told me to stop. He asked me to stop saying it, but I done got it. I done got my foot in the water now. One day, he may be a future mayor of the city of Harrisburg.
My.
Absolutely right. So we let him get his feet wet, there at City Council. And, he's been very, very active in the community. He's been very active in the community for years. And he's got a lot of respect in the community from a lot of leaders and also from the people on the street. He's got a good reputation as being a level-minded person, a person of his word, and so he got it. He got both camps. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir.
And he's very, 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 very charismatic and very articulate fella, and he's got a lot of good ideas. You understand what I'm saying? And so you'll be hearing a lot more about Brother Lamont Jones.
My.
And he's been to the program several times, and he's a supporter of the station and of the program. And we may ask him, Pastor Thomas, to fill in that slot that Dave Matson had, with the program, when he used to come in. Yeah, right. He would come in once a month to give us an update from Harrisburg City Council. And so I may be speaking with Brother Lamont Jones to see if he's interested in being our liaison to report on the activities there at Harrisburg City Hall. And speaking of that, I've been thinking about this brother that we normally see throughout the year, and I haven't seen him for months. I hope he's okay. And that's Brother Khaldoon Rashid.
Okay.
Any of y'all know of Khaldoon Rashid? Do you know how he's doing? Because normally we run into him in the city. Harrisburg really isn't that big. I normally run into him in the city at least once a week, and I haven't seen him lately. And I know he used to attend Harrisburg City Council meetings a lot, being an advocate for the homeless and also speaking against absentee landlords that neglected their property. So he's a community activist and a street reporter. Khaldoon Rashid, I hope you're doing well, brother. I hope you're doing well. And when you get this message, please contact me, because we would like to have you on the program. We'd like to have you as a guest on the Ron Chapel Show. Okay, so as I say, this is our last program of the year, and we spoke about Christmas. We're right in the midst of Christmas. Christmas is next week, if God give, and so if you cannot do for those that you want to do for, well, I tell you, nothing is better than a phone call. A phone call. Just call somebody, because I know you probably have relatives out of town like I do, and undoubtedly like Chris does also. Give them a call on Christmas Day and just let them know that you've been thinking about them, and wish them a Merry Christmas. Wish them a joyous day, a peaceful day. In this time of year, a lot of people feel lonely. A lot of people feel neglected, and unfortunately, there's a lot of suicides during these particular months too. Because people look around and they see that other families have joined together, and you have some people out there, that are really feeling neglected. Who spent their life doing for and raising their children and feeding and providing for their children, and now they find that their children don't seem to have time for them, and that's not right. That's not right. You are living your eulogy. You're living your eulogy, and I believe one way or another, that's going to be held against you, because the angel's going to report that too. All that your parents have done for you and sacrificed for you, now you don't have time for them. That is reported. Know that would be reported, and that'll be considered also. And do me a favor. If you receive a Christmas gift this year, well, first of all, count yourself blessed. But please don't do this. Please don't utter these words when someone hands you a gift. Please don't say, "Oh, you didn't have to do it." First of all, they already know that, okay? And here's somebody that spent all day, you're going through the crowd at Walmart or Best Buy or wherever they shopped at, trying to find something they thought that you would like, Gabriel Brothers or Saks or wherever, Macy's, and they hand it to you, and you say, "Oh, you didn't have to." What? Come on, just say thank you. Please, just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for thinking about me. Thank you for thinking about me. And and if you don't have anything to give them in return, know this: there's Christmas isn't just one day. It's Christmas all the way up to New Year's. It's Christmas all the way up to New Year's. And so some of you may not get paid until after Christmas, but assure them that you haven't forgotten about them, and remind them that it's Christmas all the way up to New Year's Day, Pastor Thomas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so yours truly, before we come back, if God gave, yours truly would have celebrated a birthday. A birthday, which is New Year's Eve, and we won't be here. On the program because I believe the next program, after Christmas comes New Year's Day, Pastor
We'll be on
Thomas.
New
I
Year's
believe.
Day, though.
Huh?
That's not a big deal.
You'll be here New Year's Day?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can't ensure that I am.
Understood.
You have to talk with you about that. You-
Alrighty.
okay, so you have a program New Year's Day?
Yes, sir. This is a regular day to us. So we're not partiers no more. So we wake up in our sound mind. So as
Okay.
long as the Lord wakes us up in our sound mind with a reasonable strength in our body, brother, we'll be here.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you'd be here on New Year's Day, because I hadn't planned. I hadn't thought about it. I thought you would be spending time home with your family. But if you'll be here, if God allow me, I undoubtedly would be here also. And so we'll see what happens. And I want to congratulate you, many Eagles fans out there. You made the NFL playoffs. I spoke a lot about my Detroit Lions, that were basement dwellers for so long. And they finally got themselves some respectability. And I believe we are one game away from making the playoffs ourselves, the first time in more than 20 years. And I believe the scenario goes that if the Eagles beat the Seahawks tonight, then the Detroit Lions are officially in the playoffs. Or if the Detroit Lions win one more game, especially against our division rival, the Minnesota Vikings, which is coming up, I believe next Saturday. And what's the Saturday football? This Saturday football really caught me off guard, man, because I would have completely missed the Lions game last night, Saturday night, if I had not saw on the internet that they have football, professional football, NFL, on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, and I had never heard of that. It was always college games that played on Saturday, unless they were playoff games, and we're still in the regular season. I know you don't keep up with.
No,
Well, okay, and
unfortunately
see, that's another reason why. I want to try to have a guest host here with the programming next year, if God give, because Chris, you ask Chris anything about the Bible, coming and going, left to right, up and down. He knows all of that. He knows all of that. He knows all of that. But
Just about. Not all of
yeah,
it.
okay, right, yeah, okay. Let me take that back. He knows a heck of a lot about it, because I know pastors 60 and 70 years old that tell me that they read the Bible and they still learn something new every day. So let me take that back, but you know what I mean. But when it comes to civic events and things like that,
Green, brother. Green.
and civic news, Chris, that's not his forte per se, which I understand, which I respect, But so we'll have someone here that we can bounce some things off of and perhaps debate some issues, especially with this upcoming presidential election, if God give, because I think that this guy, this ex-federal employee, this disgruntled ex-federal employee, 4-time indicted, 2-time impeached, ex-federal employee, if he's found guilty. Matter of fact, I think he should be duly punished the same way anybody else would. But consider this situation where we're at. If you were a person that had one indictment, do you know that you could not get a job at McDonald's? You could not get a job at Burger King if you had one indictment. And here's a person with 4 indictments, over 90 charges, and they're talking about him running for president of the United States of America. Now, something is completely wrong with that picture. Something is wrong with that picture. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
So if he's convicted, I hope that all you voters out there take it upon yourself to be the quasi jury and decide that he should not sit in that high public office. Matter of fact, or any public office, that he has forfeited his right. That he has forfeited his right to represent this nation, to even represent a dog catching district. You understand what I'm saying? Let him feel the same justice that Willie Jones, Leroy Smith over in the projects would feel, if they went out there and stole one hubcap. And speaking of that, I was thinking about this earlier, believe it or not, I said that if a person had one indictment, they could not get a job at McDonald's. You ever heard the term, Pastor Thomas, overqualified?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I used to go with a Michigan Employment Security Commission worker. I went there for a job one time, and we sort of hit it off, and so. But anyway, she told me about that term overqualified.
Yes, sir.
She said, for instance, these fast food restaurants, first of all, they get a tax break for hiring hardcore unemployed people. 18 or 19-year-old high school dropout coming there, they get a tax credit for giving that guy or giving that girl a job. Whereas if someone came in there with a master's degree, they would not hire them, no matter how much they needed help, because that person is overqualified.
Do you want to know one of the reasons why?
No,
Go ahead. Finish
okay,
your
I'm
point.
explaining that, brother, and then you give me your take on it. What time is your show, Chris?
It is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, around 3:30.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, but right now, but listen, okay, the reason someone like that would not get hired, not only because they would not get a tax break, but the person is overly qualified to the point that if they were to work there, they would be a disgruntled employee. They would be a disgruntled employee. Now, here's somebody with 6 years of higher education that has to look up to a supervisor that may be a high school dropout.
Sure.
And so therefore they would be a disgruntled employee, so they would not do an adequate job. They would not do an adequate job. And so that's why they would tell that person that they're overqualified. Okay, now you were about to say something, Pastor.
Oh no! One time I applied for waste management, but I had nothing but radio and culinary experience, and they wouldn't hire me at waste management. They're like, "Why, with your radio experience, communication background, and background in culinary arts, would you want to, be a part of waste management?" There's already a high turnaround rate, and like you said, you end up being disgruntled, and you will eventually probably quit a lot sooner than a lot of other people would. So then they have to retrain, re-equip, retool.
Right.
So it's very costly to hire someone that's overqualified, because chances are they're not going to stay long term or indefinitely.
Right. That's it. And then again, as I say, they don't get any benefit.
Sure,
Any benefit.
sure.
Okay, so the program is drawing to a close. And don't forget, call on people. If you cannot give them anything, give them a gift, give them a phone call, okay? It won't cost you nothing, It won't cost you nothing, especially nowadays, because you probably have an unlimited phone plan at that. Okay, Pastor Thomas, I came bearing gifts. I came bearing a gift. I got some bubbly here. And so let's have us a Christmas toast. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be here. Come in New Year's
got
Day.
cups or
No. You're the host, Mr. Most.
Are you
Okay.
sure you won't want to substitute it with some of this here?
Oh, come on. No,
But
bro.
look what this is, though, man.
Oh, hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
Oh, man, I thought you were friends.
I don't drink, brother.
See, he's trying to do me in.
I
Chris,
think I probably blew a lot of
A
listeners
pastor,
back.
a pastor trying to want me to ingest some hand sanitizer. Man, you worse than Trump talking about putting bleach in your arms. Hand sanitizer, pastor. You see. Man, you turn that collar around back.
There was a day, it ain't the day, brother.
Okay, all right. Okay, so anyway, y'all, we getting ready to have a New Year's toast. Okay, a Christmas toast and a New Year's toast.
Be in there.
And also a birthday toast. Like I say, God give. Next time you see me, I'll be a year older if God give. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, and see, you know the trick, Chris. If you tilt your glass, that cuts down on the is glass clean?
Yeah, I'll switch.
No, that's what you already tried to. Now then I would feel guilty if it isn't, and then I gave it to you. You always tried to feed me some hand sanitizer. Okay. All right, so. Okay. I have a phone cut off.
This looks like it's still on. I think. I can't see it from my
What
end.
did it say here?
I wouldn't touch it till we're done.
Okay. All right, so anyway, Merry Christmas, y'all. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Okay, you guys say anything, Chris?
Sure, man. Again, kind of hard to get on in there. Again, big shout out to all of those that are listening, whether on TikTok, whether on YouTube or Facebook. Again, big shout out from the Voice 17104 to the Ron Chapel Show, also to Real Rap. Ron Chapel, and don't forget Monday Night Chapel,
Absolutely.
which hopefully we'll be bringing back sometime in 2024. Lord
Yes,
willing, Creek
yes.
Don't Rise. Many blessings multiplied in the future with the grace that goes along with it. In Jesus' name, happy birthday and a blessed New Year to you,
Thank
bro.
you. Thank you. You too, brother. You and yours too. Okay, Happy New Year, y'all. Go Lions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
God bless those on TikTok, non-alcoholic, bubbly here. Again, we're appreciative for your viewership, for your listenership, for sharing the program. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you as our prayer. The King is coming soon. So let's